it a lot more in digital marketing campaigns. Facebook will likely be the front runner for AR due to the AR Beta Studio, which they are currently testing. So not too many details around what exactly that is, but it is clear that they are putting their stake in the ground when it comes to AR. So this is an example, please. So this is an example of how a brand utilized augmented reality. If it doesn't work, this screenshot gives you the general idea of what it is. So the person opens up a book, they can scan it, and then that pillow that you see was a picture in the magazine. You can put it on your couch, and you can see exactly what that pillow looks like on your couch. So it can be used across a variety of different industries. Kind of the try before you buy concept is now taken to like a whole new level, because a lot of brands and products, you can't try before you buy. It's just not how it works. But with AR, you can really, really bring that to a whole new level. Increased use of social influencers. So this, I'm sure many of you have seen, is becoming more and more common. It really varies, and influencer marketing is a big topic, so it's a little bit difficult to narrow in on it. But the one thing to keep in mind is that there is a difference between celebrity influencer marketing and regular influencer marketing. So for example, you may think that if your product or your service offering is promoted by Kim Kardashian, you will get all of the views and all of the buys that you want. That's not necessarily true, because the people who follow Kim Kardashian do not follow her for her artistic or her interests. They follow her because she's a celebrity and they want to know what's going on in her daily life. But if you look at a smaller scale celebrity who may have 100,000 followers as opposed to 100 million that Kim Kardashian has, you'll realize that those followers follow that person because of what they do and what they're interested in. There's something aligned. If I'm interested in health and I follow a health influencer or a mini celebrity in health, I'm more likely to buy a product that they promote versus someone that I'm not following for that information. So it's a little bit complex, but 85% of marketers are looking into implementing at least one influencer marketing campaign within the 12 months. And again, with the new guidelines for Instagram, it will be interesting to see how this plays out. So here's an example of how American Express partnered with Instagram. They have been widely known as doing a really good job when it comes to their influencer marketing strategy. So they partner with Instagram for all sizes, all topics. So they have Shaq, who has 5 million. They also have less known micro-influencers who have 100,000. And they've made this to be kind of an always-on, evergreen partnership. So this first example, that is a smaller scale influencer who they partnered with to go to the Centurion Lounge at Deer Valley, which was provided by American Express. So she posted an image that fits within her daily life, and it included American Express. This example of Hamilton, access to Hamilton tickets as a result of American Express, is another example. So they're really Amex ambassadors across all industries, which gives a lot of consistency and trust to this influencer partnership, because it is not just necessarily post this picture of the new Amex card. It's much more about the lifestyle and how it experience. The next one is everything is becoming social. So even things that are historically very private, like bank transactions, are now becoming social. So if you know of Venmo, which was owned by PayPal, they acquired it a few years ago, it has pretty much turned into an opportunity for people to see how their friends are spending money, which sounds pretty crazy, because most of the time you want that to be a very private interaction. They've actually found that a Venmo user opens the app 4 to 5 times not to make any transaction, just to see how their friends are spending money, who they're sending money to, are they going to dinner, how are they expressing the way that they're spending their money. So it's very, very interesting and also surprising for a lot of people. I know that my dad would never ever even think about engaging in something like Venmo, but the younger generation is, and they don't care. They really don't care.
So people, I'm sorry, so Venmo uses
Venmo.
Mm-hmm. They have to allow people to see their...
Yep. So it can be private. You can choose to be private, but part of the success behind it is the social piece of it. So they want people to see how they're using it. Yeah, see where they're spending money. A couple of case studies, Papa John's and Venmo. So Venmo allows emojis, which also gives you the opportunity to more creatively express how you're spending with your money. So instead of let's split this pizza, it's here's a pizza emoji, you know what I'm talking about. So Papa John's caught on to the fact that the pizza was the most used emoji, and they partnered with Venmo to actually integrate the API into their online purchasing. So now, if you want to share your pizza with someone, that is all powered by Venmo.
Are they selling that information to other companies that can then market their products to you because they know you're buying those products?
With Venmo or?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so when it comes to the transactions, because if you don't, Venmo doesn't know the actual details, because if I gave someone $10 and then put a pizza emoji but it wasn't the pizza, they don't know the specific data type of that. But when it comes to the Papa John's relationship, I'm not entirely sure if they have their word for that.
I'm just curious, I see how some of the other companies make their revenue. How does Venmo make their revenue? Do you know that?
I'm not into, well, they take a percentage, so they take like, I believe 3% of credit card transactions.
What if you're using, like I use that for like, if I want to send money to my friends, you know?
Right, but if it's hooked up to your, I believe, credit card,
Okay.
it'll take, I believe it's 3%.
Oh.
So they're taking a piece of every transaction and they're having the most used in platforms for exchange.
Okay.
Another example of people tying financial transactions with social would be Amex. They've again started this digital coupons trend. So they ask their customers to sync their credit cards with their Facebook and their Twitter accounts, which again, for a lot of people sounds like a big, obtrusion. But why they've done that is because if someone tweets a certain hashtag, such as Amex Whole Foods, they'll get a reward because that's all hooked up. So data-wise, they're getting a lot of data on those users by hooking it up into their Facebook and Twitter. And from the consumer perspective, all you have to do is tweet Amex Whole Foods and you get a $10 credit, which is a very simple task that a lot of people will be hesitant to do, but that's not the case anymore, particularly with younger generations. There's really not any hesitation. So those are all the biggest trends that we've seen. So now we'll dive into why businesses use social and really talking about some of those benefits. So the reality is that social media is not as scary as it sounds because it's really just media. So it used to be traditional media, traditional advertising. Now it's social media. So if you look at this chart, you'll see one example, the lower cost, so $2.50 for cost per mention versus direct mail or broadcast, which is significantly higher. Not to mention the reach. I mean, 1.86 billion people are on Facebook. So doing any type of marketing or advertising on Facebook, you of course aren't going to reach all of them, but you have a bigger pool to swim in and a much more higher percentage that someone will see it. Customer validation. So it gives you the opportunity to put things out there and get your community's feedback and their confirmation and their either if they want it or they don't want it, what they want more of, what they want less of, which you cannot get with traditional. Organic search is measurable marketing cost. So there you can really measure the return on your investment when it comes to social media. Not that you couldn't necessarily with traditional, but you can really target in on whatever your KPIs are and track those. And then recruitment. So if you're a company that wants to put your best foot forward and get the best talent, really incubate talent, being on social is really where you need to do that because the next generation of talent is going there first to really see what your brand is about. Are you up to date? Are you really in with the times? So now we're moving on to part 2. Does anyone have questions about businesses and social? Okay, cool. So this is really talking about social media for executives and how current executives are leveraging it. That's from the business side, more from the personal side. So which platforms do executives use? So these are a few. The bottom 4 are specific to finance. The top 2 are general executives, Twitter and LinkedIn, which we'll speak a little bit more of. Sedify is a community of investors and traders. It seems to have dropped off a little bit in the past couple years, but it is something to look into if you are in that space. Gust is for angel and startup investors. AngelList is, again, startup. And then PartnerUp is a part of Google+. It's built for companies and entrepreneurs looking to find investors, co-founders, board members, things of that nature to really make those connections. So we'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn and Twitter specifically as opposed to those other ones. So LinkedIn. LinkedIn is responsible for more than 80% of a business's social media feeds. So this even isn't necessarily just the business's social media site. This is the executives putting their best foot forward, representing their companies. So these are a few tips. You can send these later, so you don't have to read through all of them, as to how you can maximize your LinkedIn profile to improve your reach. So a couple simple ones. Your name, if you have a certification, it should be right after it. Your photo should be a current professional photo, but there's the option of a background photo that can be more personal, so you're not just, your professional self. Headline, the best question to ask is for what unique quality do you want to be found? And that tends to be a little bit more for the recruitment side. Summary, less is more. Start with your unique value proposition. What do either you or your business excel at? Your professional experience should focus on the size and the specialty of your company, so it's very straightforward. Utilize endorsements. So if you are listed and featured as a highly skilled professional, it improves your chances of expanding your reach and actually finding more leads, because LinkedIn will prioritize your profile if you establish yourself as an expert through endorsements. Customize your URL. This is a simple one, just makes it seem very cohesive, so you can change, instead of all the numbers and letters, to say your full name. Make your profile search engine optimized, so you can include very, very specific keywords within your profile, tied to either the new business that you want to find or the new talent that you want to recruit. You can join groups, so there are tons of groups that are relevant to every single industry, so you can participate there. That's a really good place to start if you are interested in first beginning on LinkedIn. Find a group that's relevant to your industry and be an active participant and figure out what that conversation is. And then lastly, share your honors and awards. So whether your company has won an honor or award or you have, there is an opportunity on LinkedIn to put that in the forefront. So with these 10 tips, you can really maximize all of the ability for putting your best face forward on LinkedIn. When it comes to Twitter, this is also another great, yeah.
Just LinkedIn, because I think a lot of people in this room use LinkedIn.
Okay.
Because I know I'm connected with a lot of them. How do you keep yourself out there so that people see, like I get these messages, Drew has a new job, or Bill has a new, it was published recently in an article came out. How do you do that, right? And what's the best way to utilize this tool?
Sure.
If you want people to hear about you and know about what you're up to.
So there's an option when you make an update on LinkedIn, whether or not you want that to be private or public. So there's a setting. So if you just got a new job, you either want people to know or you don't. So if you get a notification that someone had a new job, they set that setting so that other
It's
people.
all driven off your profile?
Yeah, that's all
If
profile.
you change your profile and you have that as a public thing,
Yeah.
that will drive the announcement or the.
And it's not making the profile public or private, it's just the actions, the changes that you make. So some people don't want it to be private if they're looking for a new job and they change, what they're interested in. They don't want people to see that, so they'll make it private. Other people do want to know that they're moving on to other places. They'll make those specific pieces public, but you can set that each time you make an update. Also keeping your profile very updated, as if it were, the electronic resume that you update way more often than your regular resume. There's the ability to write stories. So if you're a thought leader that has, a lot of opinions about a subject matter, you can use their journaling feature. And then sometimes you may notice it says someone published this post. That's what that is. These are all settings within LinkedIn. Let's see what else. Does that answer?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm always concerned about having my profile public. If I make a change, let's say you have 500 people connected to 500 people are going to get your, something about you.
So it doesn't go to everyone. It doesn't go to every single person that you follow. So I'm not sure the back-end algorithm that it uses, but not every single person gets an update about every single person.
Oh, really?
It may be based on, I'm not entirely sure. But yes, that is also a concern to people. They don't want everyone to know. So there is also the ability to use the LinkedIn mail. So if you want to tell some people, you can message them and use their internal mail system and keep it more cohesive, or join a group and post updates within the group. Yeah. Yes.
Which is the default? If you do nothing, what happens?
If you do nothing, it's set on private. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is there value, I understand that there's value in constantly keeping your LinkedIn out there. So I'm hearing every day or a couple of times a day, I link to an article or somehow getting out there because not everybody's going to see me at the time that I sent it out. It's like, when I'm looking for a job, I'm
Yes.
going to see that ad in the paper at that time. I'm not going to see it elsewhere. So how should I be out there?
So it really depends on the quality of the content. So if you see something that you think would add value to your LinkedIn followers, that's the best place to start. So it's really over quality over quantity. I'd recommend 3 to 5 times a week if that content is high quality. But it really just depends also on what your goal is. Are you driving traffic to your company's website? Are you trying to get the attention of a recruiter? It varies in terms of what that content is. Any other questions? So Twitter is another platform that I'd recommend in terms of just jumping into the social media presence. So a lot of companies have embraced Twitter as the best way to communicate with customers and stakeholders, and their CEOs or CFOs have a very significant presence on the platform. These are a few habits of successful executives, and there are a few that I'll show you examples of. One, be your brand's conscience. So for most consumers, an ideal CEO or CFO or executive C-suite level person from a brand is someone who uses their social media presence to make sure a brand keeps its promise. So whatever your company's promise is, whether social responsibility or otherwise, as an executive representing it, it's really an opportunity for you to reinforce that, to share the content that your brand is sharing. Don't sell, share. Great executive tweeters don't try and sell to their followers. They try and engage in a very personal way. So it's an opportunity for you to put yourself as a person, not as a professional, and really kind of create a mix of both. Be a real human being, which ties to that. It's a great opportunity to give a brand, especially big brands, a face to a name, where if you think that you don't really understand what the brand is, but then they have a very active executive on Twitter, you can kind of get more of a sense of what they're all about because it stems from the leadership most of the time. Write well, so there is this idea that it is informal, social media is informal, but formality still matters, and grammar, which seems like a simple thing, but it really does go a long way. And then commit. Tweet a few times a day, a few times a week. However it works for you. If you're just beginning, don't jump right in and go crazy, but again, focus on that quality over quantity to make sure that as you aggregate the content that shows up on your feed, it really ties to what you believe in, what your company believes in, and what message you want to get across.
So this would be a good slide to send to Trump.
Yes, and there is recently today the Kafafi Act. So they're looking into making sure all of these tweets are kept secure so that they can track it. So there's a new act that was, I believe, placed into action today or this week that will track all of his tweets and make sure that they don't get deleted. If they do get deleted, they're all in place. So how do you executives use social? These are a few words of how CFOs describe themselves on their social media platforms. So you'll see a few. Finance obviously stands out, but husband, family, small business owner, accounting, a lot of their other interests kind of circulate, community, alum. It's really an opportunity to create a very well-rounded representation of who you are as a person. And it's a great opportunity to just get engaged in conversations that tie to your interests. I know personally for me, I use Twitter to express myself, sometimes in an opportunity in conversations that don't necessarily tie to my day job that I'm really passionate about in a very productive manner. There are a few executives that have been named the best executives on social media. So one is Jack, who's the chairman, CEO, and president of American Family Mutual Insurance Company. So if you look at his profile, his company is in the forefront. So his cover photo is promoting his company's event. His most recent 2 tweets are interacting with his employees who are sharing something about the company. So it's very, very clear that he is proud of where he works and he wants to promote community within the company through his social media presence. And he was voted the most engaged Fortune 500 CEO on Twitter by Fortune magazine. So if you want to start a Twitter, he might be a great person to start with, and you can really look at that. Sure.
There's one thing about your CEO or CFO considering companies that you have to be cautious about using Twitter because it's very easy to violate FD regulations. And inadvertently put non-public information out there, and now all of a sudden you're scrambling in order to make sure that the whole world is on those to put this tweet out, because that's not a thing to be an effective manner of communicating to the world.
Yes, definitely compliance plays a big role, and the place that will end is talking a little bit about that and how you can make sure if you do represent a publicly traded company that what you put out there is aligned with what the company wants you to, because that is a very important thing to note, that it's not as simple as retweeting. Some companies have a policy you cannot retweet. So if you do spend some time on some of these executive level Twitters, you'll notice that it all is all original content. Some of it is just very closely tied to the company. So by just promoting and engaging with your own brand content, you're likely not to break any of those rules. But we will talk a little bit more about that. So these are 3 more.
Just a question,
Yeah.
I just thought of as you go through these
Sure.
stuff. The use of hashtags.
Mhm.
How do they work and how they can be used effectively in social media?
Yes,
I think a lot of people think they know,
yes.
people that, and there are people that know, and there are people that think they know.
Yes, definitely a very good
I'm one
question.
of those, I think they know, but.
Yes, it's definitely a very good question. So the primary purpose of the hashtag, and its most simplest purpose, is really just to create a conversation all around one topic and make it easy to find all of it. So if you hashtag FEI social, and anyone was talking about this right now, you can see all of that content in one place, not cluttered by anything else that's on the feed. So that's the primary purpose. When it comes to using it, it again depends on your goals. So if you were to tweet something about this event and you wanted every financial executive to find out about it, you would maybe tweet Financial Executives International. If you wanted people interested in social media, hashtag social media one-on-one. So it has to be tied to what the goal of your post is, and less is definitely more. Some people use it to get more of a following, so the more hashtags you put, the more likely someone is looking for that content and will engage with your own content. But when it comes to a professional presence, it really should be tied to what is the message that you're putting out there and how can this participate in a larger conversation. So there are trending hashtags on all platforms that you'll see. So if something is going on, a major event, you can see what the hashtag related to it is, and then if you participate in that conversation, include that hashtag, anyone looking to learn about the conversation will see your input, so it can establish you as a thought leader within a broader conversation. But there is still a little bit of misuse, I would say, when it comes to just putting anything and everything and making them very, very, very long. The shorter, the better. And when it comes to ideating hashtags for a brand campaign or something of that nature, it's important to think about and look at how used it is, because if you want to launch a campaign and you have a really great hashtag, but it's been used 5,000 times, your campaign will be cluttered with unrelated content. So it's becoming harder and harder. It's as if you're trying to get a URL, and most of the good URLs are all taken up. The same type of thing is happening with hashtags and brand campaigns. So these are just 3 more who have been noted as very influential executives on social media. Jan, CEO of Federation of Young Australians, she focuses a lot on inspirational content tied to what she does with her organization. Brett, CEO of World Rugby, he's a former professional rugby player, and he focuses a lot on advertising tied to this industry. Paul, CEO of Havas Media, so he focuses a lot on the Havas community as well as advertising, media, and marketing. So again, just some initial people you may potentially be interested in following. So why do executives use social? So there are 7 main reasons. 1, develop thought leadership. So it's a great opportunity to get your opinions out there in a productive manner. Again, keeping compliance in mind when it's related. So through LinkedIn, through Twitter, whatever the platform may be, it gives you a voice to a broader network as opposed to just those within your organization. Become a more strategic leader by seeing what other conversations are going on. By knowing what is happening on social media, you can then tie that into your leadership abilities. You can tap into a broader peer network. So with LinkedIn, you never know when someone is interested in what your business has to offer or vice versa. So that really taps into a much bigger peer network. You can relate better to staff and employees, again, by understanding what's going on within their realm. Communicate with investors and analysts. Get a hands-on perspective of why social technologies are disrupting industries. So there's a lot of, pending what you choose to follow, it's a really easy and fast way to scroll through a feed and see what's going on in the world of technology or finance or investment. It's very streamlined, just right there in front of you, and you can engage with it if you choose to. And again, with current events, news, and personal interests. So it's the perfect combination of being able to put your professional foot and your personal foot forward. These are just some stats about how employees want their CEOs and their members of their executive staff to be social. So 73% of executives and social CEOs search to see what their CEO is posting. So they want to see what their brand represents, and the best way for them to understand that is to look at the top and look at the leadership. Particularly people who are looking to join a company, they will go to whatever public profiles that are out there and see what is this company about, what are their leadership saying. 76% of all executives believe it is a good idea for CEOs to be social and really be out there. 69% of executives with social CEOs would like to see their CEOs participate even more frequently. So this is just beginning to increase more and more frequently. You're seeing more big executive level companies yes?
When you suggest, do you have a sense of
The demographics for
what
this,
age demographic?
the age demographic of who they,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What portion of the millennials versus, whatever the next level is versus maybe?
I believe that they just kept it aggregated. They didn't break down in the public data what the demographic was, so I'm not sure on that. Okay, so now if you're interested in social, how to begin your social journey, it's much more complicated for brands, which is why this wasn't out here for the business perspective. It requires developing a social strategy and thinking long and hard about it, because although it is taking the place of traditional media, that is not to say that it is easier. Even though it is more effective, it does require a lot of thought. But for personal use, the first thing is decide where you are on social media. So the worst thing is to join something without having any idea of why you're really there, other than someone told you to. So is it thought leadership? Is it to build a following, to become influential, to engage with a specific audience that you otherwise wouldn't have access to? There's a lot of different reasons. Is it for personal, friends and family? Understand your target audience, which is different than the reason why you're on it. So do you want to reach people on the same level as you? Do you want to reach people who may be interested in working for your company? Another group? Determine your primary platform. I'd recommend not jumping into all of them at once. Like I said, Twitter, LinkedIn, the best places to start. Be active. So make it a part of your daily process, whether it's in the beginning of the day when you're reviewing news and you find something that's interesting to you, hook that up into your social media. If you can do it more, engage regularly, but start slow, but be active. Don't be passive from the beginning, because otherwise you always will be. become a content creator. So write blogs, write articles, create short videos. Everyone is pressed for time, but these platforms give you the opportunity to put content out there very quickly. Twitter is only 140 characters. It doesn't take that much time to get something out there, which is another really great benefit. Embrace your unique perspective. What do you have a point of view on? What are you an expert on? And focus on that and share that with other people, because that is what people are looking for. They're really looking for experts to lean on and to learn from. In a world where it's cluttered with so many different ideas, there still is a need for experts. So now we're going to not talk too much about compliance, but of course we'll mention it.
By the way, there's one at the end there, it's called people like your company, yeah.
Sorry?
That's right.
There's one at the end you left off, you said,
Yeah.
all companies like yours have.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Not so keeping up with compliance. So these regulations are more specifically tied to financial investment companies, but they're just generally good to keep in mind. I would recommend, if you do go on social media and you work for a publicly traded company or a company that does have some type of guidelines, speak to them first. A lot of the times, social media compliance and governance didn't start at social media. It existed for other media communications beforehand and has been adapted into social media, so it doesn't have to seem as scary as it may. So a few regulations. One, record keeping. So a lot of companies work with third parties to record and capture all of the content that's out there tied to social media, so that all of your written communications are discoverable. So that's just a way to make sure that everything is tracked. Testimonials for a lot of financial companies, as far as I know, they're prohibited. So recommendations and skills on LinkedIn, things of that nature, may not be allowed. Suitability, so know your customer when it comes to recommending something related to finance. A lot of companies don't allow someone that represents the brand to pitch products or make any general investing recommendations on social media. Advertising, content standards are the same as other communications, so you can't make performance guarantees. Anything that promotes your company on your LinkedIn profile may need to go through a board. Again, this is more, may apply, may not apply, depending on your company and how strict those finance rules are. And then supervision, so there must be evidence, written supervisory procedures in place for electronic communications before an employee may be allowed. So this is really just to make sure it's known that compliance is important for a lot of the companies, but the best place to start is to talk to whoever it is within your compliance department who oversees this and have an open conversation. I want to use social media for this reason, so you go through that list. This is my target audience. This is what I want to talk about. This is my use. Let me know what the rules and regulations around that are. So that's everything I have. I'm definitely happy to answer more questions. I hope that you have a bit more of a better understanding from the business side and from the personal side, and realize it's